When I was 19 years old, I was drinking every single day, using drugs every single day, tried to take my own life 2 times, and was living with people that I absolutely hated. I had a career that sucked. My life was completely miserable and nothing seemed to be working, or at least even on track for the life that I thought I was going to be living when I was in school. And then fast forward a few years, when I was 23, I was financially free, living on the beaches of Mexico. I've traveled the world since, made my first $1 million by 28, and now I'm 30 years old, multiple business owner, and literally have the life that most people can only dream of. In this episode, I want to walk you through 7 different things that you can do, that I've done, that have made a drastic change in my life to take me from where I was to where I am right now. And I hope that you can just take at least one of these things, apply it to your life now, so you can be 10 times further along than where you are right now in the next 12 months. The first one is this. If you want to change your life, you've got to first change your environment. When I was 18 years old, I was hanging around people that were just drinking every single day. We were fighting people every single weekend. We were quite regularly, either me or my friends, getting arrested most weekends for doing things that were just illegal. My boss at the time was a raging narcissistic alcoholic drug addict, and all the information that I consumed either through music or TV or online was completely negative and toxic. So that's exactly what I become as well. And it wasn't until at 21 years old, a friend gave me a CD by a guy by the name of Jim Rohn, who I later found out was the mentor for Tony Robbins. And he started to teach me different things. He started to say different things like, you're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. And that really hit me because I started to look at all the people I was surrounded by. And I started to look at the people that were ahead of me. And I just thought to myself, if I don't change anything right now, then I'm going to be exactly like where these guys are in the next 5 years. So I drastically changed my environment. I decided to surround myself with people that were a lot richer than me, a lot happier than me, and then they actually had a freaking plan for life. I then later on went on to find out exactly why environment really matters. You see, scientists did a study on a group of monkeys where they put 6 monkeys into a cage. In the cage, they put a ladder, and at the top of the ladder, they put a bunch of bananas. And every single time a monkey would go up the ladder, they would scold the rest of the monkeys with boiling water. And eventually, the other monkeys would beat the shit out of the monkey that went up the ladder because they recognized that every single time one of you go up the ladder, we get punished, so we're going to stop it. Eventually, no monkey would go up the ladder anymore. And then the scientists took out that monkey and they put in another monkey. And then that one went up the ladder as well. He got the shit beaten out of him, left wondering what's going on in here. They kept doing this over and over and over and over until every single monkey that was in the cage, not one of them had actually been up the ladder and not one of them had been scalded with water. Now, if you were to have a conversation with the monkeys and you say, hey monkey, why don't you go after your bananas up there? He would probably say, well, that's just the way things have always been done around here. They wouldn't even question it anymore because it just becomes normal. See, what the wrong environment does is it conditions you to a normal way of living. What's normal for me now is extremely different from what was normal for me, say, 10 years ago. And us as humans, we're always wanting to follow the path of least resistance. So we want to create a life that is normal for us because that's what we're used to, that's comfortable for us. So it's not so much about changing your environment, but more so wanting to change your perception of normal. But how we shift our perception of normal is by shifting our environment. So the very first thing that we need to do to completely shift our life and to take it in another direction is to actually surround ourselves with people that already have the results we want, or those people also have similar ambitions to you that are also wanting to get the same thing. For the first 21 years of my life, I surrounded myself with the wrong people and it took me absolutely nowhere. It took me to drugs, alcohol, and a suicide attempt at 19. And in the next 2 years, from 21 to 23, by just doing this one thing, changing my environment, took me from a complete broke, out of control, going nowhere person to at 23, financially free, my own business, living in my dream country. Which, to be honest, was pretty freaking scary at the time, which leads me into the second thing, which is do things that scare you. Literally, when we do things that are just not scary to us and they're normal, that's us staying within our comfort zone. But you already know that. But let me just hopefully explain to you in another way. If we continually do things that are just normal and easy and comfortable, then we're never actually going to grow. So why we need to actually focus on doing things that scare us, even though most of the world has said to us that fear is a dangerous thing, we should avoid things that we're afraid of and whatever else, probably less than 1% of the time when our brain says that is a scary thing is only actually a real threat. 99% of the times, our brain perceives the uncomfortable thing as a threat and challenges us and tells us to get out of the thing that we're doing. So when I was 23, I thought about, hey, what if I build my business, quit my job, and move to the other side of the freaking world? Those were 2 things that were really scary for me at the time. Quit my job when I had this great source of solid income And 2, move to Mexico, the place that Western cultures dramatize and think that it's riddled with cartels and it's one of the most dangerous countries in the world. For me at the time, at 23, that was pretty freaking scary, and that is exactly why I knew I had to do it. In fact, now that is my compass within. When I know that I'm on the right track, it's when I'm heading towards things that make me extremely uncomfortable. They're a little bit scary because I know on the other side of that is massive growth and massive opportunity. The third thing is this: go and travel. No matter how old you are right now, listening to this, watching this, if you're in a bit of a space right now in your life where it doesn't really feel like things are working and you want to have a drastic change in the next 12 months, quit everything you're doing and go and travel. Because I've never met anyone who's literally just given up everything, gone and traveled the world and came back with a worse off life. It just doesn't happen. When I was 18 years old, I used my last $2,000 in my bank account to buy return tickets to Europe to backpack with my friends for 2 months. We had no idea how we're actually going to make it happen, but I went over there and just figured it all out. And I literally remember within the first 3 weeks traveling, thinking to myself, I've learned more in these 3 weeks about myself and about life than I have learned in the last 12 years in school. Traveling has taught me more than anything else, any other subject, any other mentor or person has ever taught me, because it really allows you to face off with you, to become a resourceful person and figure out things on your own. And if you're pretty young watching this right now, then you've definitely got to go and travel. Because here's the thing, the older you get, the more expensive traveling becomes. Because when I was younger, I backpacked Europe at 18. We slept on the streets one night because we couldn't find accommodation. Now when I travel, it's like a minimum 4 or 5 star hotel because I really prefer to stay in just comfort. It costs a lot more to travel now, so get into it while you're young and just figure it out. Number 4, work out. As simple as this sounds, the amount of people that I still see walk around that are obese or they're overweight and they're also depressed and they're lost and they're unhappy, it blows my mind, because one of the things that can really help you just feel happier and have a sense of certainty in your life is to have a proper workout regime. Even if you got no idea what you're doing, go to the gym, get on YouTube, figure out some workouts that you can do. I'm not sure what it is going to be for you, but at least commit to 5 days a week actually going to the gym and having a proper workout regime, because the results in your life and how you feel internally often have a direct reflection on one another. Number 5, get off the freaking dating apps. Get off the dating apps. Get off Tinder, get off Hinge, get off whatever the fuck else there is out there these days, because even though I have met some people in my life that have met each other on a dating app and they're in a great relationship and whatever, I've seen dating apps bring more depression, more lack of self-worth, more lack of self-esteem, lower insecurities. I've seen dating apps screw up more people's self-image than anything else. Because if you're a guy, unless you're part of the top 1% guys out there over 6 foot and you look like Brad Pitt, then on a dating app, you just have no freaking chance. And if you're a female, chances are you're on there either consciously or unconsciously doing it to get attention from people that 10 years ago you would have had to go through so much effort to actually get. So what dating apps have now done to us is give us this false sense of perception of who we actually are within. It's making us lazy, it's making us be a lot more judgmental, it's making us be a lot more materialistic, and it's making a lot more people come off as being really fake. So my advice is to completely get rid of them and go and find some hobbies. What are some things that you actually love to do in your life, and go and be a real person and get out there and find people that you want to actually date and be with at the places that you also like being at. I met my current partner while I was learning how to dance bachata, because I want to do something outside my comfort zone. I want to learn a new sport. I want to learn a new hobby. So I went there, and chances are I met her because she also values doing things new and growing as well. So we get along, we have similar values, and we didn't have to meet through a freaking screen. And before I dive into the last 2, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you get all this content all the freaking time. And if you haven't yet checked out the description in these episodes, you actually can go ahead and get my productivity planner that's helped me make $1 million by the age of 28. Go and take it. It's completely free. You guys are going to love it. But let's dive into the second last one right here. This one has completely changed my life, and it is to get yourself a mentor. Now, the first mentor I ever had was Jim Rohn. But by the time I got his CD and started playing it in my car, he was already dead. But I've had so many mentors that are not even alive right now because I've been able to purchase their material, purchase their recorded programs, their CDs, their courses, read their books, and get access to the wisdom and information that these people have put together and compiled over their whole life and have been able to give to me in 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Then once I started to actually apply the things that these guys would teach me, I started to make more money, which would then allow me to pay to be inside of rooms in the flesh with these people. So you need to start to think about who are the people that you want to be around, who are the people you'd like to learn from, who can mentor you, and how can you get into the rooms where these people exist. For example, I've literally created an events company right now, and I really believe it's come down to because events have completely changed my life. Personal development events, business events, networking events, getting around places like this where I have to meet people and rub shoulders with those who have the life I want has completely changed my life. So now I really think that probably a big reason why I've created it is to give back and to give the exact same opportunity to everyone else out there who hasn't yet got that. So get a mentor. You're either going to have to pay for a mentor with money, or you're going to have to pay with time, or you're going to have to pay with a value exchange. One of the first mentors I ever had, I never paid her, but I said that I can help share some things about social media that she might not know if she can mentor me in a few things that perhaps she knows that I don't. And it was an amazing exchange. And now to this day, we're still best friends. In fact, I was even one of the groomsmen for her at her wedding. If you're thinking that doesn't make sense, she's lesbian. That's why she had groomsmen and she's a female. Okay, and the last one is this. Create a plan and then actually follow your plan. Jim Rohn said, plan your work and then work your plan. You should never start your day before it's finished. You never start your week before it's finished. Never start your month before it's finished. And never start your year before it's finished. What he means by this is to actually sit down, be with yourself, and figure out what is it you actually want to create. What do you want in the next 12 months? What do you want in the next decade? What is that vision? What is the plan for you? And then sit and reverse engineer this thing into actually a bit of a chunked down plan. Every single year I'll sit down and do this, and I'll create another vision for the 12 months, and I break it down into 4 quarters. Now, the only thing I then focus on for the next quarter is how do I move the needle towards accomplishing those things I said I need to set out to do this quarter. So every single day, I'm just focusing on where I'm getting to in the next 12 weeks. It's far enough to motivate me, where it can be something big and exciting, but it's small enough for me to really be tangible and focus on the things now that I need to focus on. Most people are completely lost in life just because they have no plan. And a simple plan, some simple clarity can absolutely change the game. So there you have it, the 7 things you need to do to completely unfuck your life and to create massive success. Go ahead, apply these things to your life and let me know how it goes. Guys, if you are brand new, welcome to Dream Nation. And if you're returning, welcome back. If you love this episode, share it out to your friends, do all those sorts of things. And until the next episode, go out there and dream out loud.